Hi everybody, and welcome back to Bedtime Stories with me, Kenny, where the parents can go ahead and take a break and the kids can get ready to sleep. Of course, I'm being accompanied here by my two buddies, Teddy and Ducky, sitting over there in the corner, taking a break. Now, today we're going to try something a little different. I am going to be reading 4 stories from a group of stories called Aesop's Fables. Now, Aesop's Fables are a collection of stories that show a lesson or try to teach a morality thing. Like a morality lesson? A morality story? Yeah, I guess we'd say that. And, well, I have 4 of them here. And they're going to be the tortoise and the hare, the ant and the dove, the ant and the grasshopper, and the dog and his reflection. Let's get started, shall we? The first one is the most famous one, the tortoise and the hare, or more colloquially known as the turtle and the rabbit. Now, this story is going to be about a hare who thinks he's so fast and so speedy and best of everything that he can't believe that a tortoise would challenge him to a race. Well, let's see what happens when they race each other and who loses in this race. A hare was making fun of the tortoise one day for being so slow. "Do you ever get anywhere?" he asked with a mocking laugh. "Ha ha 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 ha." "Yes," replied the tortoise, "and I get there sooner than you think. I'll run you a race and prove it." The hare was much amused at the idea of running a race with the tortoise, but for the fun of the thing, he agreed. So the fox, who had consented to act as judge, marked the distance and started the runners off. The hare was soon far out of sight, and to make the tortoise feel very deeply how ridiculous it was for him to try a race with a hare, he lay down beside the course to take a nap until the tortoise should catch up. The tortoise, meanwhile, kept going slowly but steadily, and, after a time, passed the place where the hare was sleeping. But the hare slept on very peacefully, and when at last he did wake up, the tortoise was near the goal. The hare now ran his swiftest, but he could not overtake the tortoise in time. Slow and steady wins the race. That's a good lesson. That's a nice story. Slow and steady wins the race. Usually it does. Alright, on to the second story. The ant and the dove. Well, it's about an ant and it's about a dove. The dove does something kind for the ant, and we'll see if the ant does something kind for the dove. Let's go. The ant and the dove. A dove saw an ant fall into a brook. The ant struggled in vain to reach the bank, and in pity, the dove dropped a blade of straw close beside it. Clinging to the straw, like a shipwrecked sailor to a broken spar, the ant floated safely to shore. Soon after, the ant saw a man getting ready to kill the dove with a stone. But just as he cast the stone, the ant stung him in the heel, so that the pain made him miss his aim, and the startled dove flew to safety in a distant wood. A kindness is never wasted. The ant did repay kindness to the dove by saving the dove's life as well. Nice little story. Let's get to the next one. This next one also has an ant. This one is between the ant and the grasshopper, where the ants worked hard all summer and the grasshopper didn't. It emphasizes, or at least this story emphasizes, the twin values of hard work and planning for the future. Let's see how this story goes out. The ant and the grasshopper. One bright day in late autumn, a family of ants were bustling about in the warm sunshine, drying out the grain they had stored up during the summer, when a starving grasshopper, his fiddle under his arm, came up and humbly begged for a bite to eat. "What?" cried the ants in surprise. "Haven't you stored anything away for the winter? What in the world were you doing all last summer?" "I didn't have any time to store up any food," whined the grasshopper. "I was so busy making music that before I knew it, the summer was gone." The ants shrugged their shoulders in disgust. "Making music, were you?" they cried. "Very well, now dance!" And they turned their backs on the grasshopper and went on with their work. There's a time for work and a time for play. Always remember that, kiddos. If you play too much, you'll never get your work done, and then you run out of time to do anything. And our last story for this evening is about a dog and his reflection, and how a greedy behavior teaches this dog a very harsh lesson. The dog and his reflection. A dog, to whom the butcher had thrown a bone, was hurrying home with his prize as fast as he could go. As he crossed a narrow footbridge, he happened to look down and saw himself reflected in the quiet water as if in a mirror. But the greedy dog thought he saw a real dog carrying a bone much bigger than his own. If he had stopped to think, he would have known better. But instead of thinking, he dropped his bone and sprang at the dog in the river, only to find himself swimming for dear life to reach the shore. At last, he managed to scramble out, and as he stood sadly thinking about the good bone he had lost, he realized what a stupid dog he had been. It is very foolish to be greedy. So that's what happened. Because he was greedy, he lost his bone. Don't be greedy, kids. Always be happy with what you have and plan accordingly. And with that, we're going to finish our stories for tonight. Alright, everybody. It's time for me to get out of here and for you to go to sleep. Good night, have wonderful dreams, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.